Welcome back to WD Magicast for a week of November 13th, 2022. This is episode 203, WD Magicast, the show about the mouse, the Marvels, the galaxy, and beyond. I'm your host, Matthew Gracon. First off, I want to apologize. I've lost my voice. It is doing a lot better than it was earlier this week. Part of the reason for the delay. The other reason was, as Dave and I will get into it, is scheduling. Just how timing of everything has worked out. A lot going on recently. So, better late than never. Sorry for that. But in this week's show, we will be discussing Marvel's latest blockbuster movie, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Both Dave and I saw it, and we have a lot to say about not just this movie, but what it means going forward for Marvel, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A lot of things coming up. You'll get our opinions about that. Also, I do have a survey. Survey's back. Survey's out on Twitter. Check it out. At WD Magicast. This one was about Doctor Who, the more recent announcement. Are you excited for Doctor Who coming to Disney Plus in 2023? So any of you who are Whovians, those are people who like Doctor Who. Was this impactful for you? Did it mean anything? What does it mean to you? If you're not familiar with Doctor Who, how does this affect you? The options were, oh yeah, it's okay, does nothing for me, and what's Doctor Who? If you don't know what Doctor Who is, you'll be finding out about it on this show. It's something that I have been a fan of for most of my life. I would dare to say almost all my life, since the early 80s, when it came to PBS here in the United States. Something my siblings introduced me to. I'm very thankful. It's something I've watched ever since. And next year will be its 60th anniversary. Not too many shows get to that point. But anyway, I digress. The survey. 0% of you said, what's Doctor Who? Happy to hear that. 0%. 17% said, it's okay. All right, it's okay. 33% said, oh yeah, you're excited for it. That's where I'm at. I'm with you all. I can't wait. And 50% of you says, it does nothing for me. And that's what you say now. Maybe your tone will change later. Because the implication, I don't think most people realize, that Doctor Who, which is, again, it's a show that's been around for 60 years. The agreement that Disney has with the BBC and Bad Wolf Studios, who produced the show now, is not for just American audiences or Canadian audiences. It is for anyone outside the UK. So Wales, Ireland, and England, they will still see it in the BBC and how they traditionally saw it. But everywhere else is going to have to watch it on Disney Plus, and that is quite major. And I think that's going to affect a lot of the ways that they produce the show now. And the show's actually getting a substantial cash infusion budget to its episodes. So I think the future is bright for Doctor Who. And again, I'm speaking as a fan, and this is something that eventually I'm excited that now I can talk about it on my Disney podcast, because it is a passion that is only second to Disney of mine. But on that bombshell, we'll be back after these words from our friends and sponsors.
Hey Matthew, Jim Hill here. I do the Marvelous Disney podcast with Aaron Adams over at the Jim Hill Media Podcast Network. I know, very humble sounding name. Anyway, I really enjoy what you've been doing over on the Disney Marvels podcast, but as you probably already noticed, the Marvel Us Disney and the Disney Marvels podcast names are very, very similar, which is why I imagine I keep getting mail for you. That's actually why I'm calling today. I wanted to know what you'd like me to do with all of these Yankee Candle catalogs, so please get back to me. And keep up the great work with the Disney Marvels podcast.
Thank you for those kind words, Jim. And make sure to check out Jim Hill on the Marvel Us Disney podcast with Aaron Adams to find out all sorts of wonderful things about Disney, well, Marvel, particularly what's going on with them. And Jim, those catalogs, I'll make sure to give you the forwarding address. And unless if you want to order something, go right ahead. And once again, make sure to check out Marvel Us Disney with Jim Hill and Aaron Adams wherever you find or listen to your podcasts. And now, on with the show. One of the greatest challenges that the Marvel Cinematic Universe had to face was the unfortunate loss of Chadwick Boseman. And though this was a few years ago now, the effects still ripple through Marvel, through the film industry, through us, the fans. Ryan Coogler was tasked and in the process of making the second Black Panther movie when this all unfortunately transpired. And that movie, after much revisions and reflections and thoughts and unfortunate circumstances, has now come to fruition and has been released. That movie, of course, is Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And help me, possibly dare I say celebrate, but talk about Black Panther Wakanda Forever, of course, is King Dave. King Dave, welcome.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for having me. I
Always
didn't.
a pleasure.
When did I become a king?
Well, some may say you look back in the Bible and there you are.
Oh, there you go.
Others say you look to the Middle East and your name is written in many Sanscripts. All we know is you're Dave.
I'm Dave.
It works better if you're called the Steak, I guess.
Yeah.
The Black Panther Wakanda Forever came out Friday. We're a little late on this because of scheduling. We didn't get to see it till Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And because of work schedules and everything. This is Thursday, earliest that we can record it. So hopefully I'm having this out in the next few hours. We'll see how what time allows.
You're not getting much sleep tonight.
It'll be out in the next 24 hours.
Yes.
From when we record this. But yeah, Disney is pushing this movie. And when I was in the parks, there was merchandise for it scattered throughout, shirts, mugs, all sorts of different type of merchandise. There was even a journal, which looked like the front of the Black Panther outfit with the silver necklace around
cool. Yeah.
The cover of the book. It looked really, really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I need a journal. I was almost going to pick it up, but again, I didn't need another blank book.
Right.
So tons of mugs, tons of things. Traditional outfits for Wakanda. You name it, they had a whole bunch of stuff around the parks. Shop Disney's got a bunch of things. Target, Walmart, go to any of those places, I'm sure they got it. So the marketing effort for this movie is there. This is something we've seen the ads for. They've been pushing it, and it's the biggest opening for a movie in that week or in November, I believe. So is one of the biggest openings. It did really well for them opening weekend. So do you think that lives up? Do you think it lives up to the expectation? We'll just start off broad, and then let's nitpick. We'll nitpick, but I'm going to do it different.
Okay.
We'll start off a little broad here.
Mm-hmm.
We'll give our grades early.
Okay.
So this way, if anyone hasn't seen it, they can stop at that point, then go and see it and hear the rest of our review instead of not hearing our grades, because we give that after we
Yeah.
give any potential spoilers. As much as we'll try to avoid spoilers, but unfortunately, sometimes spoilers happen.
Yeah. But no, this I can see why they would heavily market it, because this is one of their big genres that they have, the Black Panther. So I would expect them to market it and have all the merchandise out. As far as the movie, did it live up to, what was it, to the marketing and everything, or to the hype of?
To the hype and the expectations.
I think overall, yes. I would say yes, it did. You know, I mean, I don't know how much you want me to go into detail, but I think it did overall. I did enjoy the movie, yes.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it definitely lives up to, at least in my mind, what the expectations are.
Yes.
This was a movie, since the first one, a lot of people been looking for and waiting for. From my knowledge, I could get into this later, they had to change some things, but not everything changed from the original treatment. My understanding of the original treatment.
Right.
So I would say I was pleasantly pleased. The cast carried the movie very well. I think the treatment that they did for T'Challa, for Chadwick Boseman's character, it was very tastefully done.
Yes.
Very respectfully done. It is a thread that runs through the movie to carry things. So overall, I was very pleased with the movie. So what would you give out of 10 for this movie?
Out of a 10, I'd probably give it an 8.
Okay. This is something I typically try and think ahead of time, and I don't know why I didn't do it yet. But
you didn't think of what number you were going to give it?
Yeah, I'm somewhere between a 7 and an 8, and I'm going to. I was gonna say 7.5, but I'm just gonna round it up to the 8 on this as well.
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna round it up to an 8, which is what I give No Way Home an 8 as well. What else? In the original Black Panther, I gave an 8 as well. So, right on par with the original, which I think actually, as few things I said to you in the theater, that it does mirror the original in a lot of the aspects. It's the same writer and director, so a lot of that makes sense. So yeah, I think an 8 is a respectable score for it. I enjoyed it. Visually was stunning. The acting job, everyone really could tell put their heart and soul into this project. This was something that it wasn't just a job; it was a passion. It was something that they wanted to make sure that they did right.
Yeah, it was well written. The actors and actresses nailed it. There wasn't any cringe-worthy moments like in Thor: Love and Thunder, where there was a bunch of cringe-worthy moments in that one. Hate to bring up that one, but no, it's a total different movie than that.
M'Baku was not doing a split in mid-air, holding two
exactly
2 spaceships with his meaty thighs.
Right. Yeah. It definitely brought it back to the more serious part of Marvel,
Yes. It was a lot more grounded.
Yes.
We introduced some new characters that we'll be seeing moving forward. So a lot of things definitely build off of this, and that will be reflecting in things to come. So that is our grade. If you want to hear further discussion, if you've seen the movie, please feel free to follow along. If you aren't worried about potentially hearing some things that happened in the movie, potential spoilers, feel free to move along. If you want to not hear any spoilers or anything about what happens in the movie, Please pause the recording now. Go watch the movie. 3 hours. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
And on that note, I guess the best place to start is the beginning. I mean, they just throw you right into what happens, or an interpretation of what happens to T'Challa, which is very reflective of what happened to Chadwick. In my view of it, how it seemed to play out to me is that, they really are sticking to, this is what happened to Chadwick, very similar to what's going on with Black Panther, with T'Challa's character.
Well, let's go a little bit further back on that. The role, the Marvel role, like, to me, I don't know how you caught that. It was all like Chadwick Boseman on there and everything on the Marvel sign, how it all, but it was was just quiet. So to me, I interpreted that as like their way of giving him a moment of silence before, you know what I mean? They started the film.
They did the same thing with Stan.
Did they really? I don't remember that.
Yeah, when Stan passed away, they did the same. I don't remember if it was silent, because I apologize. I don't remember which movie it rolled in front of. I want to say it was I think it was Spider-Man or something like that. But for Stan, all the little sequences that they would normally show was all of Stan's cameos that they throw in there. If they had the fanfare or not, I don't remember off the top of my head. I mean, that was 2018. So, I mean, 4 years ago.
It's been a while.
My memory's not that good.
Right. But I just caught that. That was because you're used to that fanfare going along with that coming out, and it was just crickets, man. And everybody in the audience was quiet. So it hit that, that's what it felt to me. Like that was Marvel giving him his respect, his moment of silence before they started the movie.
Absolutely. And they dedicate the movie to him. Yes, I noticed that, and I thought that was a very classy and nice touch. And the color schemes that they used it as well.
Yes.
Was the purples and the Black Panther schemes and the and everything. Very tastefully done, very nicely. And a good way to start it off, especially since they start off with the heaviness of, again, like I said, they deal with his passing right up front. And I can only picture it as what was happening in the hospital when Chadwick was about to pass, and just it's talk about his heartbeat slowing down, and they kept calling it an unknown disease. And when you think about it, none of us knew that he was sick.
Yeah, no.
There was only a handful of people, and Chadwick, his doctor, and maybe a couple of other people. So again, it was an unknown disease to everybody.
Yeah, and it's shocking that they kept that quiet in today's day and age with social media and everything. Kept that under wraps.
So that's something that they kind of were, art mirrors reality, and I think the reactions to the cast in that scene was very much from the heart.
Yeah, almost like they weren't acting because they knew that guy. You know what I mean? I'm sure they loved him.
And it was, like I said, it was personal.
Yeah, and it showed on the scrn that it was personal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Letitia writes the pain and the tear in her faces, and also Angela Bassett. It was a moment for them to recognize T'Challa. T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman. And then the funeral scene, again, beautifully done. I felt with the whole town and the rituals and the traditions that they instilled into what a funeral for a sitting king should be like in that country.
Yes.
So that again all was just a very touching. You had the painting on the wall of
Oh yeah,
him,
the
very
mural
much like
or
you had
whatever.
with
Yeah.
the mural, just like almost like what you had for Robert Downey Jr. for Iron Man
Yes.
in this in Spider-Man movie. So you had that again also mirrored in this movie. Um, I mean, someone said to me, it's like, he passed away once. However, they had the blip. You think they would have been more prepared, and I could not understand that statement or that criticism of this movie. I'm like, I don't understand what this means because there was no like rushing to get the funeral together. The funeral was very much well prepared and well casted, well done. It wasn't like it was a surprise to anybody. Him passing away, yes, was a surprise, but it was a very weird criticism. And a couple of the criticisms I have heard of this movie have been very strange.
Yeah, that's weird because passing in real life and being blipped away by Thanos are two different things.
Very, very different things. Yeah, um, like some of the stuff I've even read online is like, oh, the editing, I didn't care for it because the editing is very choppy.
What?
If you're criticizing the edit, if the only thing you could criticize is the editing,
Yeah.
then it's a
Hey,
pretty good movie because you can't fault anything else.
exactly. As far as that, I didn't notice anything on the editing part, but hey,
I was looking for choppy editing. Sometimes I do pick out choppy editing. This time I didn't pick out choppy editing.
my only criticism, which I told you afterwards, was how long was this movie? 2 hours and 45 minutes long.
2 hours 45 minutes.
Yeah, the original Black Panther was, because I looked it up before we got on, it was 2 hours and 18 minutes. So I'm like, yes, they probably could have pulled it off in the same time frame because some of it just seemed a little long, but
Yeah.
it was still well written enough to keep you engaged in the movie. It didn't bore you to tears where you would pull back. That was my only critique, that it was just a slower moving movie.
Well, here's a question for you: did it feel like a 2 hour and 45 minute movie to you? When you left, when the credits started?
No. When I left, no. I think when I was in it, at one point, yes, because I was looking for, what I asked you in the middle of the movie. Like, I don't know if we're gonna get to that yet, but
we'll get to that. Get to that.
So, but no, during
and I
it,
have a response, but we'll get to it.
But during it, maybe because I was waiting for something to happen, but at the end of it, no. So,
and I would agree. I mean, there was points that it like, okay, what's going on? All right, we're bringing back another character or something. We were exploring another world. This is nice, but again, by the all said and done, no, it did not feel like 2 hours and 45 minutes. I do feel that the end battle was rushed in its resolve. It's like, okay, you could have shifted some of the time. You could have taken out some of the little extra stuff in the middle that we may not have needed so much to just clean up the end, or just spend the extra 15 minutes, round it out a 3 hour movie,
right,
and go. I understand that the theaters don't want a 3 hour movie. That 15 minutes is turnover time for the theater to clean it out and get more cheeks in the seats.
This is true.
So I understand why they don't want a 3 hour movie. I get that.
Yeah, because it's less times you can show the movie in a course of a day. So
right, just less income, less. Not that you're charging already, $20 a head, $15 a head, whatever it is.
Yeah,
that's neither here nor there.
Right.
It's but again, the overall writing is very clean, very professional, very purposeful in the way it's done. I can't fault the writing much at
No,
all.
not at all. No.
The acting job, like I said again, Angela Bassett.
Hmm.
My goodness, when she was on screen, she commanded that screen. I mean, she was. I felt try and give the performance of her life for this movie.
I agree 100%. She just like you said, man. When she was the main person on the screen. You were like, okay, here we go.
She was in charge.
Yeah,
She hit those lines out of the park every time.
yeah.
The stoic looks on her face, the tears, the way that she delivered those lines. Like, I mean, we saw the one part in the trailers, the initial trailer that they dropped, and she says, "My whole family's gone,"
Yeah.
and we all knew it.
Hmm.
So this was not a surprise line, but when you see that in the theaters,
Yep.
it just hits you right in the heart.
Hmm. It's different.
I mean,
Yeah.
she puts so much into each of those lines when she's at the UN and she's
Hmm.
delivering her speech, which I thought that was a brilliant.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was just
She
brilliant.
she slayed them, man. She was awesome.
I apologize to the French, but I'm glad it wasn't the U.S.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's not a big fan of them, that's for sure.
Yeah, like,
Uh,
she just had such a presence in this movie, and she's like delivered it, and I really enjoyed what she brought. I didn't think they used her enough in the original Black Panther.
yeah, true. Yeah.
And
But I don't think they really needed. Maybe
they didn't
writing
need her.
stance. They
No.
didn't need to use her that much. In
No.
this one, they needed to, and she
and
shined.
she delivered.
Yeah, 100%.
And just how the way that certain characters from the original movie transitioned. Letitia Wright's character and her journey. The Dajé Milange characters, I can never get their names right.
Yeah.
The Kia, okay, they each one has a different path, and they have more of a journey in this. It's not they're not just a static character that everything is the same. No, they go through their own little journeys, and even M'Baku's character, there's a maturity to him now.
Yeah.
There's a purpose and a more to his character than just, oh, you're just the guy up in the mountains who just likes to cause trouble. And actually, he was one of the characters I was really excited to see back.
Yeah, he took more of I guess, I don't know. It looked like it was more of like a big brother.
Yes.
Role in this one, other than a troublemaker.
Still causing a little trouble here and there.
Right here and there, but it was more of a grounded big brother role for him in this one.
Yeah, like what was the one? Again, it was towards the beginning, and they have the council all around there, and the other guy started speaking. He starts making hooping and hollering noises.
Yeah. Yeah. Very little comedy in this one, but he delivered his little routines there.
The few parts that there was well placed and
yes.
and appropriate.
Yes, exactly.
Not over the top, unnecessary.
Right.
Like doing splits, holding
two
spaceships apart with your eyes.
Eventually, we're gonna have to let that one go, Matthew.
I'll let it go when you do.
Yeah, this is true. I know. I'm the one that brought it up. I know. Sorry. Oh man. So what did you think of the what's his name? Namor, the bad guy in this one.
Namor plays soccer, and Namor is the Submariner.
That guy, the Submariner guy.
Compelling, interesting. You don't, even by the end of the movie, you don't know where he stands.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's brilliant.
Right. And that's the thing, like, okay, they introduced, well, when they first were introduced, I thought we got invaded by Avatar, because I said that because just his people look like this straight out of Avatar.
Yeah.
But by the end of the movie, I took it as like a new group of characters that we're going to see again somewhere down the road. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think this was the ending for them.
No. And like I said, there was a lot of introductories. As far as, this is the end of phase 4, as Feige said.
Mm-hmm.
But it ushers in a lot of stuff that we are going to be seeing real soon. So, I mean, again, you have the Atlanteans, Namor. You have Kiki. Was it Ironheart?
Oh, Shuri? No.
Dee Dee. Right? No, but that, hold on. I'll get the name.
That's not her. Shuri was that, duh. I clicked the wrong guy. Wrong girl. You should know this. But yeah, that's what I was gonna. So she is Ironheart then.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Is it really that much of a spoiler though?
Yeah, no.
Because I mean, you in the suit.
Well, that didn't really hit me until I saw the suit. You know what I mean? I'm like, wait a minute, that looks a lot like Iron. Oh.
Yes. Here we go. Riri Williams. That's it. So Dominique Thorne.
Okay.
Riri Williams. We will be getting an Ironheart series sometime next year, end of next year, potentially. So again, that leads into that going about, like I said, the Atlanteans, Namor. One thing that Feige has promised us, or kind of hinted at us, is that where in the past it's always been one antagonist that the Avengers are having to deal with, he hasn't promised us just one.
Right.
So we know about Kang.
Kang's coming. Yep.
But we also know the leader's going to be showing up at some point, and we have this question mark about the Atlanteans. That also key thing, and I've mentioned this in other episodes. I'm mentioning it again now because they keep mentioning it. Is the M word?
The what word?
M word.
The M word.
The M word. I don't mean mustard.
What M word is this?
Mutant.
Oh yeah. Yep. They're coming.
So again, Namor said, "I am a mutant amongst my kind," or something like that. So again, they keep dropping the hints at mutants and that stuff and coming. So it's Marvel likes to lay these things out, so when things finally do happen, it's just like, oh yeah, well of course we've been hearing this now for how long?
Yeah, well that's
what I think. Do it for years.
Yeah, that's why I think in this episode, because this movie, I've been in past movies, I've been critical. There we go. Of where are we going? What's happening? You know what I mean? To me, it didn't feel like anything was leading into anything. But in this one, now you got the Atlanteans in there. Okay, they're gonna go somewhere. And then you have Ironheart. They introduced her in this. You know that's going somewhere. So this one kind of it gave me what I was looking for. Like it advanced the Black Panther storyline, but it also gave you, okay, here's two different things that you're gonna see down the road as well.
More stuff that's going on in the universe.
Exactly. So that's what I've kind of been looking for, and this one nailed it. You know.
Right. And so yeah, there's a lot of things coming out into this. Now, one of your criticisms during the movie was, where is the Black? This is a Black Panther movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Black Panther's in small text. Wakanda Forever's in big text. Even though it's a subtitle, it's in big text. So that's to tell you that the Black Panther isn't as big of a part in this. It is 2 hours. 2 hours. I'm sitting in this movie earlier. It's been 2 hours and we still haven't seen a Black Panther. Let me introduce you to this very strange concept with superhero movies, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
It's called a origin story.
Yeah, that's
and in origin stories.
Yeah,
you discover the character.
Yes,
you have to give the character doubts and can't believe in themselves, and then you have to give them purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And with purpose comes power, and with power comes great responsibility.
Where have I heard that before?
Uncle's Ben Rice.
Yeah.
And then they have to excel and fall, and then from the fall, they truly discover who they are.
Okay.
And all right, and then tell me at what point did this not happen in that movie?
No, it happened. And at one point, because I went in, I didn't really know who was going to be the Black Panther. You know, I didn't know who it was going to be. I had a feeling it was going to be her, but I just I thought it was going to be one of the other characters at one point. I don't know, because it was just, that's what happens when you get my brain spinning too long. 2 hours into it, I'm sitting there going, where is the Black Panther and who's going to be it at this point? Because again, I got the itch when the movie was going.
I'll give you the real warning now. Now that we've seen the movie, I'll tell you that Black Panther is Angela Bassett.
Yeah, exactly. She pulled it off well. No, because it was going. I was into it. I was, enjoying the storyline, enjoying the acting and all that stuff. And then after about an hour and a half, I'm sitting there going, they haven't said anything about Black Panther. They got the bad guys doing stuff. They could really use that character at this moment in time. So where the heck is he or her?
Well, first off, and I alluded to this at the beginning. From my understanding, the original treatment, Shuri was always going to end up with the Black Panther mantle, because apparently this actually is something that happened in the comics, where T'Challa steps away from the throne to go and do some other stuff. And so Shuri takes over, takes the seat, takes the mantle. She becomes the Black Panther for a bit, and so forth and so on. So that's one thing that was always intended for this movie.
I'm not big on the comics, so that's why in my head, I wasn't sure which way they were going.
Yeah, I read most of the X-Men. I didn't read too many of the other ones. But yeah, that's my understanding too. Let's see, Black Panther doesn't mention anything in here. No, it doesn't mention that. Oh, okay, actually, no, it does mention this. At my Avengers Ultimate Character Guide book, the Black Panther is the title given to the ruler of the African nation of Wakanda. In modern times, T'Challa was the Black Panther and took on the powers that go with the role. He traveled to America to see if the superheroes there could be a threat to his homeland, but soon became allies with many of them, joining the Avengers and briefly marrying Storm of the X-Men.
Really?
Yep. His sister Shuri now rules Wakanda. T'Challa's acting as her second, which would make her. And when T'Challa was injured, his sister Shuri took on the role of Black Panther and continues to rule Wakanda. So, and there is...
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
So, and just to make reference,
You should have let me borrow that book before I saw the movie. So, well, but thanks for the heads up there, Matt.
this book is copyright 2015.
Okay.
So, over 5 years ago. So, print doesn't change.
Mhm.
Especially when it's sitting in my cabinet.
So they probably, if Chadwick didn't pass away, they probably would have eventually went that route of the storyline anyway.
That was the route that they were looking to do.
Yeah.
So this was something, that part of the movie, strangely enough, was planned.
Mm.
Now, how we got to that part, changed completely.
Yeah.
But she was going to end up with the mantle now, where we're going to have 2 Black Panthers and all that stuff. I couldn't tell you.
Mhm.
But as for Shuri becoming the Black Panther, these 4 part of this movie, that was planned.
Yeah.
That was planned. That was inevitable. Something that someone else did bring up is, when did she go to fight school?
Well, do I want to go there? I mean, I don't know if you know where I'm going, but I'm going to switch things. You go to Star Wars, the sequel trilogy. Everybody knew how to handle a lightsaber as soon as they picked it up. So it's like,
not everybody, not quite everybody.
Rey all of a sudden, hey, I'm a Jedi Knight, and then even what's his face?
Ben.
Yeah, even him.
See, there's a logic behind that. Ben had stormtrooper training, so you had weapons training.
Right. True.
And one of the new weapons of stormtroopers is some battle batons.
Mm-hmm.
It
Okay.
handles a lot like a lightsaber.
Right. Okay, so I can give him a pass, but Rey, no.
Rey was channeling it through the Force. Now, step back to the original Star Wars Episode 4. Don't rely on your actions. Let the Force guide you. Let the Force move your control. So, you know what? There's a precedence for that. That is actually...
Yeah.
That goes back to George. I don't want to hear it.
All right. Let's get back to Black Panther.
Now, as for Black Panther, the only logic that I can come up with is that, we're talking over a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
She has obviously had some sort of combat training, because we saw at the end of the first Black Panther movie that she is taking on this separatist movement, the ones that decided to fall Killmonger. So you had that, she's had a little bit of experience there. Who's to say, especially after her brother's passing, the Dajjal Malaj didn't go up to her and say, okay, you are going to become ruler now, or you're now next in succession, etc. You need to learn how to protect yourself, and that's just something we never saw on screen.
Right.
I could buy that. I don't know about anybody else, but I could easily buy that this is something that was going on off screen, that she was receiving some sort of training and whatnot.
Yeah. I didn't think that was what's that?
My wife came up with the ideas that whenever she asked for the computer to bring up her brother's DNA, is that she learned the fighting movements from her brother's DNA, and I said, "What are you smoking?"
I didn't think. I just chalked it up to, she is now the Black Panther, and she now knows how to fight. Like, I didn't really dive too much into that. You know what I mean? I just thought it was like a part.
No, but you have a problem with Rey holding a lightsaber.
Yes, I do.
Yes, okay.
I do. I'm a little bit more critical of my Star Wars, man. You know that. But what did you think about her seeing Killmonger in her in I guess her passage to become Black Panther? Like, he was kind of cool, because he was like, "Are you going to be like me, ruthless like me, or are you going to be like your brother?" Basically, that's how I took it. What path are you going to take?
I did not expect that.
Yeah, neither did I.
I thought it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It really advanced her character and it made her character different.
Yeah.
Because if it was anybody else of her family, it would have just been like the same thing that T'Challa had to go through. Wherever he had his vision, he saw his dad, and that whole bit. So if it was her father, if it was her mother, or somehow they brought T'Challa back, it just would. I don't think it would played out as
good as it did.
No,
Yeah.
You know, the fact that she saw, and it just again, she was conflicted the whole time about not wanting to do this. You know, Black Panther's dead. It's an old tradition. That's not me. No way, Jose. I'm not doing it. And now, okay, I finally have to do it. Finally figured it out. I drank the herb. All right, let me just go through this hokey old tradition. And she's doing it against what she wants to do, and then she sees someone that she actually absolutely despises, who plants a seed of thought in her head of, well, you're not like your brother.
Mm-hmm.
You're more like me.
Yeah.
And she hates him. So to hear that. But, and then she designs her outfit. I'm not sure if you saw, she had the two helmets to choose from, and she chose his helmet.
Mm-hmm.
And she designed her outfit off of his style of the outfit, the gold accents versus the silver accents. But she added in her own twist with the sonic blasters that she had in the first movie.
So wait, the helmet she picked up was Killmonger's?
Yep.
See, I didn't catch that. I just thought it was like a smaller. I don't know. I was thinking, this was the men's section helmets, and here's the women's section helmets, because it was smaller and more.
It was gold.
Yeah. So I was like, all right,
that's why it had the gold accents on it versus.
Mm-hmm.
Which I did think it was a little strange. I was smaller, but whatever.
Yeah.
My assumption was Killmonger's because it was the golden one versus the.
Right. It could be. Like I don't know.
So, but at the same time that she was so hell bent on killing Namor, I personally thought that was a little beyond her character.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a little forced into her character. And then by the time you buy that, she has moved on to that and realized that killing him is not the answer.
Right.
Because we know that the revenge isn't always the best way, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, which my son hated. It's like, if it was the boy Black Panther, he would have killed him and this and that. The whole point of the movie is that, not to kill the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not killing the guy is not the way. It's not the answer. Plus, any can't have sequels.
Exactly.
So that I thought that, again, that's where I said it seemed rushed. Like all of a sudden she had the change of heart, and all of a sudden they have a flying vehicle from somewhere that they're staying on the back, half a mile out, yelling, talking normally to these people, and everyone hears them. Yeah. And there's only 5 Wakandans left.
Yeah. But what do you think of those cool like water bombs that the Atlanteans had?
I thought those were cool.
Those were really like I don't know. I think they used them in the earlier scene in Wakanda, right, where they were just like flooded the whole entire section, and they blew up a building or whatever. So, and then they used a whole bunch of them at the end to try to blow up that one big ship. So those they were cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. The look of them. Of the Atlanteans, the little funky suction cup breathing apparatuses that they had on their faces.
Mm-hmm. They did a good job, like their homeland, whatever, Atlantis, I don't know what you want to call it, but that was that was
mentioned the name, started with a T. I can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
that place looked really cool. I thought Attila was
Talakin?
a
Talakin,
little,
is that it?
huh?
Talokin?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Namora, I thought was an interesting. She reminded me a lot of Gamora, not Gamora, Nebula.
Nebula. Hmm.
A lot of Nebula in the way that it's like I think she's more dedicated to the purpose than Namor is.
Yeah.
Wiping
Which,
everyone out.
yeah. Which is strange. Or
Yeah,
she didn't like the adjustment. You know what I mean? Like
right,
she was going along with it, then the script changed, and she was like, "What? No, 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 no.
right.
What are we doing here?"
So yeah, that I thought that was interesting. I thought I would like to see a little more of her character
Yeah.
because she seemed really cool. Um, it's I like the look of Namor. It's drastically different from what I know of him in the comics.
Mm.
I don't know if any something more recent that they've changed his look to look a lot more of this. But I'm sorry, you put Namor next to that DC fish guy. I would be more afraid of Namor than I'm going to be afraid of.
True. I don't know. It was just
Let's go
weird because
talk to the Dolphins.
yeah, the it took a minute because he had like the Pegasus wings or whatever on his ankles, and I'm like, because I don't read the comics. I didn't know who this guy was. All I seen was this dude flying across the screen with little feathers on his feet, and I'm like, huh? What was that?
You think he's interested? Wait till Wonder Man comes out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I got over it, and he developed into a cool character. I did enjoy him, compared to past evil guys. This guy, it was better.
Yeah. And I always say the best bad guys are the ones that you understand.
Yeah.
That they give you a reason and you go, oh, you know what? I may not agree with you, but I understand. I get
And
where you're coming from.
yeah, and that's the thing they did well in this movie is they thoroughly explained what his conflicts were in the movie. You know what I mean? And like you said, to your point, you can see where he's coming from, and you could side with him if you know what I mean?
You get like, okay, I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. They burnt down your town and they enslaved your people, and I get it. It took you 900 years to get to the point that you decided to have revenge, but I get it.
They're patient people.
Yes. We're building a fish army.
Yeah. Merman came into it. No.
It's and he wasn't without reason either. That as sure he tried to explain certain things. He's like it's not that he just completely blew her off. She just never put up a good enough argument for him to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted Riri Williams, and they got her, but they didn't kill her right away either.
Right.
It's not like some of these other ones that, oh well, we got what we wanted, just kill her, and then okay, done with it.
Right.
No, they held her to the side. They treated her decently. I mean, they were trying to feed her and kept her comfortable and whatnot. So they as much as they wanted to kill her, they didn't automatically. So they as bad as they as much of the antagonists that as much of the antagonists that they are in this movie, they're not evil.
Right. Well, I think at that point he was trying to get his point across before he did anything drastic. Because if he would have just straight up killed her, that I think that would have caused like a bigger rift with the Wakandians. Yeah. So I think he held off to try to explain to Shuri, right? Sure, yeah, that what's going on, what his thought process is, and see where it goes from there. And then they end up ultimately escaping and all that stuff. So he didn't have the chance to kill her at that point, and then it just escalates to whatever. But I think that's why he held off, because he didn't want to initiate the war right away. You know,
Right. You make the connection about the deep sea suit.
Mm-mm.
So, yeah, she's like, well, I can't go down there. She's like, no, you can't go down there. Your bones get crushed. Don't worry, we got a
Right.
suit for that.
Mm-hmm.
You do realize where they got that from.
The suit or the
Yeah.
line? No, I don't know. Refresh my memory.
Go back to the beginning part of the movie where you have the expedition ship
Mm-hmm.
looking for the vibranium.
Oh, they took one
sent
of their
the
suits?
2 people down.
Oh, snap. Oh, that's messed up.
You had the 2 research people down there, and all of a sudden they disappear.
Right. Oh, they
That was-
recycled it. Oh, I didn't catch that. I didn't put that together.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's like, it's like, oh, story's going around, and I was like, there was a dead person in that.
Hope they cleaned it out for her before they gave it back to her.
That was that I wasn't sure if you caught that.
No, I did not.
Yeah. What was the other thing I was gonna? Oh, speaking of tying things in, when they brought in, I want to call him Adam Hydra, but I know she has a different name in this movie. Elaine's character.
I'm trying to think. What are you talking about?
The director.
Okay.
That.
You got to be more
Julia
specific than
Louis-Dreyfus.
that. What's that?
Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character.
Oh, yeah. I know
When
you're talking
she
about.
showed
now.
up.
Yes.
What did you think of that? Were you expected to see her?
I did not, because I didn't see how she fit in here, and that's another character that I said, like, all right, remember I said I forgot about her. I'm glad you brought her up. Like with the 2 thing with the Atlanteans and with Ironheart, now she's involved in this too, because we know she's going to be involved in another show coming up too. I don't know why she was in there though. I guess is that leading up? Is she trying to find the vibranium too or something? And
She, excuse me. Oh, they go give her by her full long name, Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
there you go.
Woo.
Rolls off the tongue.
Rolls right off the tongue. I think her character's like Madam Hydra or something like that. I forget. But she, because they're building her character.
She's becoming the new Stan Lee.
Well,
Like, yeah.
no, she's
You're just seeing her pop up and everything now, though. You know what I mean?
No, she's become the new Nick Fury.
Ah, yep. Okay, I'll make that. Yep, that's a better. Yes.
That's a better analogy. She's become the new Nick Fury because we know where she's heading.
Yes.
With Thunderbolts coming out.
Thunderbolt. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So she's the one that's going to get all that together. So, you know, they're pin-potting and plotting all this stuff. So we get to know her in things again. Makes sense. And that's why I said Marvel doesn't do things a year out. They'll do things 5, 6, 7 years out.
Mm-hmm.
So again, and this is what I was saying about them talking about mutants. You know, we've now been hearing for 2 years about the, you know, mm-hmm. mutants or mutant effects or a mutant, you know, mutation. So this thing is now dropping slowly. Not so slowly, but it's been, you know, plodding along. And we know next year nothing's happening as far as we know. So that's another year. So we'll have 3, potentially 4 years of being aware of mutants or mutants being, you know, somewhere in there, and that these things this is starting to happen. then it's going to show up. I mean, think about it. The Infinity Stones wasn't a thing. No one said, "Oh, Captain America, you're holding an Infinity Stone in the Tesseract." No,
Mhm.
it was you have the Tesseract, but then you started getting hints of, "Oh, wait, there's this other thing going. Oh, Thanos is hanging around there. Oh,
Mhm.
look, Thanos grabs an Infinity Gauntlet."
Yeah.
That was all Phase 1.
Yeah.
Phase 3, where we finally get the Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
So, and that's what was about 4 years.
Probably. Now, do you think because they want there's the well, I guess the two-part Avengers movies that are supposed to come out by the end of 2024, right? I think I saw on the timeline. Do you think they'll have do you think they'll have the mutants in there by those two? Because I'm assuming those are going to be like the finales of whatever storyline they're generating. So I'm wondering if the mutants will be in there.
Possibly. And I think a lot of this hinges on, because if you look at the timeline, there's a lot of holes there.
Mm-hmm.
One movie that we know is in the works that I think has the biggest hinge effect on that. We don't know how it will fit in, or if it fits in, or if it's going to be a standalone, or what.
Mm-hmm.
Deadpool 3.
Ooh. Yeah, because he's going against Logan, so Wolverine, right? So,
So
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, do they
how
include
does
that?
that,
Yeah,
is that something separate?
I would say yeah, because to this point, Deadpool's kind of been on the outskirts. Maybe that's because he has the R rating, mantle to it, but he's kind of been on the outskirts. He hasn't been involved, right? And he wasn't
Because
in.
it hasn't been evolved because it's always been a Fox property.
Right, true.
But now it's an MCU property.
Yeah.
And Marvel and Feige has said from the beginning that he's wanted to pull Deadpool into this.
Mm-hmm.
He's not opposed to the R rating. He likes the Deadpool franchise as it is. He wants to continue it being the way it is. And he is Feige's got a plan. We all know that.
Yeah.
He has got this master board um, in his office about where he thinks certain things should happen, when what he wants done. And I mean, it's a fluid plan, but it's a plan. I mean, again, Marvel doesn't do things a year out.
Yeah.
It does it many years out. And
So
it's
you're
got
saying that movie could be the stepping stone to bringing them in. It, like we'll maybe we'll get a bigger hint when that comes out as a direction with the mutants.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I would not be surprised. Again, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Just because we're all from New Jersey doesn't mean that
Yeah.
he's been over to my house for dinner.
Can you imagine though Ryan Reynolds in that set like with like in an Avengers movie with all that cast? I mean,
They have said that for this upcoming Avengers movie, dual movies, that the battle that we saw at the end of Endgame
mm-hmm.
will pale in comparison to the culmination battle.
Wow. That they want to plan for that. Wow.
Right. Which, good guys, but also means more bad guys. It means a lot of things going on there.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get a few more bad guys in there.
Well, but again, we got Kang, we have the leader, we know of certain ones coming,
mm-hmm.
and there's more that we don't know about. I mean, we know Fantastic Four is coming. Who's usually the opposition to the Fantastic Four?
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Doom, who's usually one of the big bad leaders that's usually pulling the strings of a bunch, try to run a whole bunch of things. Doctor Doom. Do they pull something from Sony for the Spider-Man stuff? Probably not, but who knows? So there's a lot of things in play here that we don't know about yet.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part of the fandom that has things going, or is kind of getting to us, is that for a while now we think we've known everything, that's the direction that the MCU is heading, and now that we don't, we feel lost in that there's no direction.
Right.
But in some ways, I think it's the best thing that we don't know exactly where we're heading. Because when we get there, it will be even better. Because we're still a few years off of that. Why, to know that, oh, it's going to be this. It doesn't have the same effect as if we enjoy the ride that we're on it and start discovering things as things move along. Now, we know Quantumania comes out in February, and Kang is going to be a whole big thing there. And we've known about Kang since Loki, and okay, so this, here comes Kang. And Kang's going to be the next big bad guy, and he may be one of them. But again, we don't know where the Atlanteans hang on this stuff.
Right.
That could has potential to go in many different directions. Namor become a good guy, the Atlanteans become a bad guy, he becomes an outcast, and you're fighting against the Atlanteans. That's always a possibility. They become good guys. That's another possibility.
What about the Eternals? Do you think they'll pull anybody from there?
Yeah. I'm almost certain to some extent the Eternals will be back. Galacticus, there we go. That's another one. They set up for the Celestials in that with Galacticus. Not that they showed us. They did show us Galacticus. Kind of, they hinted at.
I think they,
Galacticus. I mean, they've hedged a lot on that movie. This is what I said about it. Why I'm an Eternals apologist is because that movie is really ahead of its time as far as Marvel stuff, because it is setting up a lot of things that we have seen those Celestials now in Thor. They even put them in the Guardians of the Galaxy ride.
Yeah.
So,
okay, I haven't seen it. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, there's one of them that it's the whole kind of storyline of the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind ride in Epcot and Walt Disney World, which is absolutely fantastic. Review coming on that shortly. But take my word, it's absolutely fantastic. If you get a chance to ride that ride, take it. If you get motion sick, don't eat a big heavy meal before it, because it is a roller coaster. But it is the smoothest roller coaster I've ever been on in my life. The fact that it's an omni coaster roller coaster and it moves, you don't even notice it. And once the roller coaster launches and the music plays almost simultaneously, you are so into everything that it's just like is a party. It's like a 2-minute party that you're going along. Is absolutely stunning. You get off, you're like, I want to go again.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you're going to have to wait till August for my review when I go out there.
That's your problem.
Yeah, I know. So because Eternals is that like one movie that there was a little bit, it wasn't well received, but it's still there. So it's like, are they going to eventually acknowledge that movie actually existed and write it into future stuff?
Well, yes. It like I said, it is. I think we don't realize how important the Eternals movie is yet.
Yeah, right.
They are, from my understanding, looking to pull some characters out of that and to bring it into things. They already, Kit Harington's character, Black Knight, he had his run in with Blade, Mahershala Ali's character. So that there is things to pull out of that movie. So it's just, I think that movie came out a little too early, and it was actually supposed to come out even earlier than we ended up experiencing it. So that movie too will have a payoff,
Right.
because if you look at Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, kind of a similar type of thing. You're setting up certain characters, you're setting up certain adversaries, and it is a slower paced movie. So they have a lot of similarities. More people like the Black Panther. They know the character and they're familiar with the franchise. Eternals, no one knows who they are.
Yeah.
No one reads the comic books because there weren't any for a while. And so it's the whole mishmash of things. But it is something that, again, Marvel's got a long game plan that we don't know about. We just have to be patient, because when we get the payout, we will be happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm on board for the ride, man. It's just, I would have been, and I think I said this to you before going into it, or, a couple weeks before it, if Wakanda Forever didn't put them back on track, I was starting to lose hope with where they were going, in the direction with the movies that they've had. But this one, it put it back on for me. So, I'm like, okay, now we're back in the right direction. And now we just got to hope that Ant-Man, moves it along even further, which that one I'm really looking forward to.
I can't see it not following suit.
Yeah.
I understand where you were coming from, and I can't say that maybe I wasn't having similar thoughts. I enjoyed Multiverse of Madness, but I don't think it was as strong of a movie as it could have been.
Same here. I liked it,
Love
but
and Thunder
was
they blundered on, and unfortunately, I don't think it definitely was not treated as well as it should have been, and I'm not blaming any one person or party on that.
Yeah, post Infinity Wars, you would have to say before Wakanda Forever that Shang-Chi was probably their best movie.
That's arguable between Shang-Chi and No Way Home. The difference is No Way Home was more fan service. Shang-Chi was just meant to be a movie.
Right.
It wasn't paying fan service. It was just an introduction to a new character and everything. Shang-Chi, again, I think was a very underrated movie. No one knew the character going into it, but they did a very good job with it. Visually, script wise, casting again, fantastic movie, very well done. So yes, that was definitely one of the strongest ones out of this bunch.
Right. But now we're back on track. Wakanda, hopefully Ant-Man, Quantumanium, that looks fabulous. I think they're going to, because of Kang and all that, this is going to be more of a story push along, I think. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, which is weird. Who would have thought back in the day that when they first had Ant-Man, that Ant-Man was going to be a pivotal part of moving along?
Well, but they even say that in the trailers. They have Scott Lang voicing over, going, I was an ex-con, and how did I end up here now, an Avenger? And people recognize me for who I am. Thanks a lot, Spider-Man.
Yep.
But again, the tone is set that the Ant-Man movies have never been fully grounded in seriousness. There's always been a little fluff to it.
Right.
So for that to follow along into the third movie makes perfect sense. Thor, which started off as a more grounded movie, and the second one, even though the second one wasn't received too well, was a very grounded movie. Third one, you got more comedic to it, but it was
It was balanced better.
Right. In the fourth one, they just went more against the wall with the comedy elements, and that's where it lost it.
Yeah.
Where again, Ant-Man's you kind of follow the fluff, and it's becoming a little more serious as it moves.
Right.
Moves a lot, it moves into its storyline. So that makes sense.
But well, you never know because look what happened to Thor. Because I'm sitting there saying, Ant-Man's the Ant-Man series have never been. They've been goofy, you know what I mean? But
right.
it's been a fun goofy, you know what I mean? Because his character and whatever in it. So I can't see them going in the direction of a Thor where it just becomes this forced humor and stuff. I don't know. That would be way out of the realm.
Yeah, no, I can see it getting a little more on the serious side.
Right, exactly, going the other way. Right.
Yeah, but you get you get some goof, but you get some serious. The movie that makes me curious to see in the direction that it heads in, which could play against everything that's happening with Marvel, or work with it, is the Marvels.
Yeah.
That is a movie that I think they have too much writing on. And I don't mean necessarily story-wise.
What do you mean? How it's received?
Yes. How it's received, and it's going to be a majority female lead cast.
Okay.
So you have a lot of things that they're banking on here, because you have Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel, and Rambo's character, whatever Marvel she is. So you have all those that are going to be colliding in that movie. At some point, from what I'm hearing, now this could be a red herring, that they get their powers all switched up, and I'm like, okay, where are we heading with this? So I'm not sure, but at the same point, Marvel has the confidence enough to release it in July, I believe. June or July. It's a summer release movie.
July 28th, 2023. Yeah.
So if you want to bury a movie, you do it in January, February, March.
True. Yes.
Which is counterproductive of why they put Ant-Man there. Ant-Man is more ready than the Marvels was, so that's why they moved Ant-Man up, because originally Ant-Man was coming out in July. They swapped those two. But we've had experience with Black Panther that February release, it did really well. So it's a slower month. There's less competition. Ant-Man should tentpole do very well. Marvel's is, they have to be hedging their bets on it. And they must feel confident enough to give it that release date. Because you're not going to put a movie that you're expecting on a bomb in July.
Yeah.
You push it to the end of August, September.
Yeah, because that's basically, right before 4th of July. So it's a holiday weekend. You want your blockbusters out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we shall see. But getting back to Wakanda Forever, which seems like forever ago. All in all, really enjoyed the movie. Casting, acting, superb. A lot of good story points to pull out of it. I want to get your final take on it, though. Your final take. I want cut that. Rewind. Paste. The after credit scene. How did you feel about it? You don't have to go into any detail about it if you don't want to. Just generally, though, how did you feel about that end credit scene?
I didn't have an issue with it. It was just I'm wondering if it was more to introduce lineage to there's another one in case something happens to her they do have somebody that could take over. Does that make sense?
Right. Okay. Yes.
You know what I mean? So, but I didn't. No, I was okay with it. I'm used to post credit scenes being something that's a lead up to a different movie. You know what I mean? And we didn't get that, so I was disappointed on that aspect because I was like, Ant-Man's coming up. Maybe they're gonna, not that you would expect anything, but maybe a little, teaser for something
right.
leading into Ant-Man.
And in some ways, I was actually surprised that there wasn't any hint at something to come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, be it Ant-Man, the Marvels, something. Right. Secret Wars even, because Secret Wars is right around the corner as well.
Yes.
Secret Invasion.
But I had no issues with it. It was just, they probably could have kept it in the movie, and it probably would have flowed just as well, But I just took it as maybe he's just, down the road. If something were to happen to her, they have another heir,
right,
to take over.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, what did you think?
I was okay with it. Really, I'm actually, in all honesty, I think I was indifferent. I thought it was touching. It was nice.
Yeah.
The fact that they used the same name, that I'm like, all right, I get it. I don't get it. I do get it.
Mm-hmm. Were they trying to maybe say in a way that he was reborn or something? Like, I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it was like Junior, but at the same time, like, okay, but you said you're not recasting the character, obviously.
Right, exactly.
But in some ways, to me, it feels like you are.
You are by doing that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was my only real qualm with it. Otherwise, I thought it was touching. It was a nice piece. It was a nice little send off.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, again, I was okay with it. Just the name part just didn't sit too well with me. But yeah. So on a whole, I think we both enjoyed the movie. Well done, well acted, well crafted.
Mm-hmm. All the suits all the suits and stuff they came up with were spot on. Like, I don't know what the heck it was, the blue armor outfit that the one that got outcasted
outfit. Yeah.
Hers was cool. Ironheart suit was cool. They
both of them.
Yeah, they came up with. There's a lot of cool designs in it in the show.
Yeah, and just again, it gets you back to being excited to what is coming with Marvel.
Yeah,
which is something I can't say we've had too much recently.
Yeah, and that was we didn't touch on that, but that was like an emotional like a part where she got outcasted from. That was her. She put her, but she failed to save the princess. So the queen kicks her out, and you're like, no, but, you felt so bad for her, but
yeah. Like, well, at least she didn't put her in the dungeon, but
yeah, exactly. But she got a shiny new suit out of the deal, so everything was good in the end.
And a spear, new spear,
and a spear. Yep. So
all in all, I thought it was done. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else you wanted to add?
No. It was very well done. I'm glad we're back on track with Marvel. Because again, I thought we were spinning a little bit out of control, but we're back. We're good.
Yep, same here. I agree. And the future is bright.
100%.
Thank you for joining me again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Sorry, we're getting it out a couple days, but
yeah, well,
we got it done.
These things happen. As you can tell, I haven't had much of a voice, so
yeah,
that's another issue to deal with.
Yeah.
All right, Dave. We'll be talking soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks again.
Anytime. Thank you again to Dave for joining me as we talked about Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Join the conversation. Let us know what you thought. Our main Facebook page is facebook.com/WDMagicCast. On Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, we are at WDMagicCast, as well as YouTube. Make sure to check out our channel there, where you can also find the audio feeds and some other video things that I will be putting up or have put up. You can also leave us a voice message through the Anchor app or Anchor.fm website, or record a message electronically on your own tablet, computer, smartphone device, and email it to email@wdmagiccast.com. You can also send us any questions or suggestions that you may have for the show, or any questions you'd like to be answered on the show. We will take those as well. We'd be more than happy to answer them, or actually have you heard on the show asking your question or any suggestions you may have. Links to all these are in the show notes and on our website, which is www.wdmagiccast.com. I want to thank you for your time. I know how little time we all have, and the fact that we get to spend these moments together, means a lot to me and my team over here at WD Magiccast. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. If I could ask you, please go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, leave us a rating or review. We have all 5-star reviews at the moment. Keep them coming. It really means a lot to us. And the more reviews that we get, particularly the 5-star ones, the more Apple Podcasts, Spotify, they will do their part to promote the show as well. And it doesn't mean that, please, we do need your help. Tell your friends, tell your family, anyone that you know that loves Disney. Check out the WD Magiccast, because won't believe they're a big Disney family, and so do I. The more people that get involved in this, the better, the more things I can do for you guys, and it'll just make the show bigger and better. Don't forget to subscribe to the show while you're at it. This way you always know when new episodes are posted. While you're at it, also consider becoming a premium subscriber to really help the show out. You can do this over at anchor.fm/WDMagicCast/support, or find our Patreon page. Also, holiday season's right around the corner. Get yourself some of the cool WD Magiccast merchandise you can wear for yourself, give to loved ones, mugs, throw pillows, magnets, t-shirts, hoodies, jackets, you name it. We have it over our shop. There's a lot of sales going on now. Make sure to check it out. TeePublic, look up WD Magiccast, or follow the link in the show notes as well, because this show is brought to you by listeners like you. Whatever you're facing out there, whatever hard times seem to be troubling you, especially during these holiday seasons, I know for some people they are joyous and they're wonderful. Other people, not so much so. You are not alone. There are people who are celebrating you. You are special. Never give up, never give in. Be your own hero. The first step doesn't have to be the last step. And there's someone out there who's willing to help you. Don't ever think you are by yourself, because you're special, you're beautiful. There's no one else like you, and that's for a good reason, because no one else can be as special as you are. Now I'd like to end this show's episode, of course, with a quote from Walt Disney himself. It is a curious thing that the more the world shrinks because of electronic communications, the more limitless becomes the province of storytelling entertainers. Again, that's Walt Disney. Thank you so much for listening, everyone, and I'll see you next time.